Hello and welcome back. I had planned to start the video with the Bristol Castle storming around the railway, but it's had a little bit of a failure, a solder joint has gone. So if you look in there, the joint between the two, the tender there and the locomotive, the green wire is soldered onto sort of a little bit of like a tin spring clip which plugs into the tender. So there you can see if I touch it, I can get a connection, but it's intermittent. So I had confidently planned to have that running round, but that's on top of, I had planned to have the Davy Crockett out and the Class 37 with some maroon coaches. So somebody had mentioned that they'd quite like to see the Davy Crockett have a bit of a run on the railway, and another person had mentioned they'd like to see the Class 37, the green one with some maroon coaches. So I'd got that all planned, and I got my unboxed Davy Crockett out and had it on the rolling road, give it a bit of a service, clean the commutator and so on. It was running really, really nicely, and I popped the top back on it, and it didn't work. So what I've discovered, I don't know whether I've got power on here. Let's put power on. So let's just put some power on there and see if I can replicate the same. I've got the same problem. I've got a dodgy connection. So this brown wire which goes down to the connection plate, let's see if I can, there, yeah, so it's come undone at the bottom. So I'm going to, let's see if we can turn that over without that falling off. In fact, it really doesn't matter if it falls off, we'll turn it over like that. So I'm going to remove that collection plate and get that soldered on. So sort of stumbling block with both locomotives, but Class 37 is all right, but I just thought we'd have a look at this to start with. So my unboxed Davy Crockett lives in this sort of homemade cardboard box. A little bit of packing on the inside here. We've got the tender. So the tender was R.358. So I think I've definitely added some extra weight to that to make it sit on the rails nicer, because I think it's a bit light otherwise. So Davy Crockett came along 1962-65. I'm just going to put the body in there for safekeeping so we don't have any accidents with it or strike it with a soldering iron. Let's just pop that in there. And there's the piece which sort of covers the securing screw, which I now can't see. There it is. There's a securing screw. So that comes off the top of the boiler. Securing screw goes in underneath there. And the securing screw goes through. I don't know whether we're holding focus on this. We'll trust it is. It goes through there and keeps this weight in place. This weight would also incorporate the smoke tube if it was a smoking model, but this is definitely not a smoking model. So we don't need any of those pieces at the moment. So we'll just pop those in there. We'll just lift that off, because that's inevitably going to come adrift, I think, when I tip this model upside down. So we'll pop that in there as well. So I think this is just clipped onto the front of the chassis there. And you can see that weight sort of sandwiches this solder tag there. Oh, that's come away as well. So everything is coming away. So I'm not going to show all of the soldering on camera, but we'll sort of dismantle this. I'm going to pull that tag there. We'll get that. And then I think we're going to be better off removing the motor. There's a very, very noisy car going past the house. I don't know whether you can hear it. It's playing incredibly loud music. I do apologise, but I think we'll stick with it now we've started. So there we go. I don't think the music will come across in any way, shape or form where it could cause a copyright issue. So hopefully the vehicle will be gone any moment now. So we've got that off there. And then we'll pull that out of there, and you see that part there should be attached to the collection plate at the bottom. So if I'll just go ahead and remove the collection plate, and I remagnetized this motor I don't know, a couple of years ago. It's very strong. You can feel the motor clicking over quite happily there. So I don't think there's any need. Let me grab a screwdriver here. So that's supports the weight of the motor quite nicely. We just got that little bit of insulation there that seems to live over there. So we'll come back to that in a moment. Let's get the collection plate off the bottom and see where we stand with that. So yeah, I was quite happy with this. It was running on the rolling road. As you saw the sort of opening pictures there, it ran nicely, but once I'd plonked the body back on, it wasn't playing at all. And I hadn't noticed that one, that solder, the capacitor to the solder tag, that was also in wasn't disconnected either. So maybe it's just the time. And this locomotive came from Elaine's trains a long time ago. Again, it's not in perfect condition, but it does run. It makes quite a rasp when it runs. So I'll take the opportunity. I'll clean that over as well. And I think I've mentioned before that when I did receive this model, and there goes an emergency vehicle. This was actually glued to the underside of the body there. So somebody had actually glued that on there. So Elaine had solved that problem before it came to me. But it's a good running item. It's not by no means a perfect model. But let's just pop that down there, and we'll just have a quick look there. So that's all covered in oil, and you can see that has come away. Let's see if we can get that up to camera a bit. So that has come away from that tag there. It wants to be soldered onto there. So I'll get that cleaned up and soldered back on, and we'll get that all connected up. So I got that all back together, well, apart from the body. Got that collection plate on there, and as you saw from that footage, a little bit fiddly. So ideally this will be all good now. So let's just plonk this on the rolling road. I know I could put that on the other way around, but it seems I'm holding the model that way. We'll just have a look at it. Yeah, that's all on. We'll just grab the other camera, and we'll just give some power. So I think that's going to do the trick. It's a slightly different noise in the opposite direction, so I think I'll just give a little bit of grease on that worm just before I put the top back on, and then once more back in the other direction, and it does have much more of a rasp when you get the top on it. I've just plonked the body back on, but I haven't put the securing screw in. We'll just dial in a bit of power. Yeah, so it does quite accentuate the sound coming from the model once you get the echoey body back on, I think. So let's pop the screw back in here. So that's the cap which goes on and hides the screw, and then we've got the screw. Now we're going to grab some focus there, do you think? Possibly not. So we'll pop that back down there, and we'll get the screwdriver in there. We'll just turn that back till we catch the thread. There we go. I think we've got that. Just another, yeah, there we have it. And then that cap just goes back on there, and we'll just give that a little bit more power. I'll just grab the other camera and just have a look at that in action. And the other way. So this all took a little bit longer than I thought. Let's just have a quick look at that cap there. We'll take that off and have a look inside. I don't know whether we'll better see the screw down there. Better focus this time. So let's just pop that back on there. And I think that'll all be good to get back on the rail. So I'll solder up the 3-rail model. I'll just mend that connection between the loco and tender. I've just separated the tender from the locomotive. We'll just have a swift look in there. You can see the cable that comes off the motor and it's soldered to this little bit of this sort of tin clip there. We'll get a bit more focus there. So if I put the loco down, and that just, or should, I just squeeze the top of it in, it just pulls out, and it's just that little clip there. And we can see where the cable has been soldered into it before. Let's see if we can get better focus by doing that. So I'm just going to clean that up a bit, and we'll get the cable stripped back and we'll reattach it. There we go, all put back together, so hopefully that'll last a little bit longer, but I suspect I'm going to need to put a new cable in there, because that's becoming a little bit short now, so I think there's enough room there, but it's a little on the short side, so a job for next time. There, we've got the Bristol Castle storming away down the outside of the layout there. We'll just get this coming through the station, then we'll leap the other side and have a look at the other trains we've prepared. Nice plonk as it goes over the uncoupling rail there. I think we'll just get one more go on that. Let's go up a bit higher. So I've got the R751 in the station there with some of the maroon coaches, and the Davy Crockett sitting waiting to have a go. Let's just come this side here. Let's see if we can get it coming through the emerging out of the station, if I can get far enough back. Express service. Off behind the windmill. Yeah, so it must be just pure bad luck. All of those solder joints coming undone all at the same time. It's very sunny out there this afternoon. See if we can do a slightly better job of getting this coming through the station. Yeah, I think we'll just jump the other side. So this time we'll just bring it to a stop in the station. We'll just catch that going round the engine shed there. We'll dial off a little power. It's definitely picked up some pace since I set that running. We'll just slow that down. We'll just get a gentle stop here. There we go. Wow, isn't that quiet once that stops running? So we'll pop down the controls and just grab those, and we'll put those around here. We'll endeavour not to pick up the incorrect ones. Sorry, losing sight of that there. So let's have a look at the diesel locomotive sitting there on the railway. So that should be all ready to go. So that's R751. Let me just grab my notes for a moment. So we won't get too much into dates and things. So we've seen this locomotive running before in the RS9 set in a video a few weeks ago, but we've got those mainline coaches, the short ones that I like. So we've got the composite there. So that's a R321. That's sort of 59 to 61. And these are quite interesting because they're in that sort of gorgeous maroon. They have a white stripe and white printing on the side there. We've got the restaurant, R322, again, similar date, 59 to 61. And then we've got the brake on the end there. These have got curved bowed ends, and we've got ribbed roofs. This is R320, the mainline brake, again, 59 to 61. Let's just have a swifter look at the roofs. So the colour match is not bad on these roofs. I think the restaurant car is a little bit deeper in colour than the other two, but quite nice with the white stripe down the sides of them. So let's dial in a bit of power. He says, hopefully, I'm sure I've left this set up so this will just run. But let's give that a bit of a go. There we go. smoothly away. Let's see if we can just get that underway. So I'll leave a picture at the end of the video of this as it showed up first in the catalogue and of the Davy Crockett. So I think they're quite lovely pages from the catalogue. That's running quite nice, isn't it? So dare we leave that to its own devices. Let's pop down the controls and see if we can get a couple more interesting shots of this running. Pop down there, so can we get that underneath? Into the tunnel, through the station. Quite a lovely item. It looks quite striking with the maroons. Now, dare we get the Davy Crockett underway at the same time. So I haven't got the handheld on the Davy Crockett. Let's go for some power. See if we can get that to settle down and get a couple of interesting shots of this. Seems to be running away quite nicely. I'll just see if I can grab my notes. That'll be the bright white pad there. So Davy Crockett Locomotive, R.358, 62 to 65, and the tender was R.233, and the Old Time Coaches, R.448, again 62 to 65. Sorry, 65. So the Davy Crockett is. Sorry, let's see if we can catch that again. Davy Crockett, 1962 to 65, and the Frontiersman set it was in. I think that was 63 to 65. That's where I was getting confused. And there was a caboose which I've shown in the past, but I haven't got it out of the box this time around. And two of those coaches have the 3D printed versions of the veranda steps at the back. So I'm just going to pop my notes down and see if we can get some more interesting shots of both of these running now. So we'll just drop the notes on the floor so they don't create a great big white spot in the pictures. Lovely items. See if we can back out down the railway here a bit. Diesel loco. I love the locos when they're coming through between the water towers. That's sort of rather an accidental thing, really. I'm having trouble catching up now. Let's see if we can catch the Davy Crockett there. Whoops. See if we can stay with that for a little while. But I think that's probably it. The video didn't turn into something I was thinking to be honest. So I was faced with those sort of solder joint failures at first, so I ended up doing that. But thanks again for looking in. If you have a look back next time, we'll see if we can have something else interesting to have a look at. Goodbye now.